Okay, it is now time for Chapter 7. Donuts and Dragon Fruit Crumble. My grandparents only live a couple of streets away, and I can cut through the park to get to their place. In fact, if they hadn't built the new houses at the bottom of our road, I'd have been able to see their house from my bedroom window. The reason they live quite close is because when I was younger, I had this hole in my heart, which sounds pretty weird, I know. I mean, what does that even look like? I always imagined being able to stare through it like my heart was a donut, but it wasn't actually like that. I mean, for one thing, there wasn't pink icing and sparkling hundreds and thousands lining my inside like on a donut, which would have at least made up for stuff a bit. But I was pretty poorly when I was little, and so Nana and Grandad moved here to help look after me while Mum and Dad went to work. When I was about 5, I had to have an operation because the donut hole wasn't closing up like they'd hoped. When I heard the word operation, I thought it would be like that game where you had to fish things out with the tweezers. And I couldn't stop worrying that I'd made this horrible buzzing noise and startled the doctor so much he'd fling my heart across the room. But he'd reassured me that he'd played that game for years and years and never buzzed, not even once. So I let him do the operation for real, and he did a good job. But Mum and Dad still won't accept that it's mended now and I'm better. They still think I'm fragile and would like to put me in one of those giant plastic balls you can mount around in affairs to keep me safe. It's a good job Grandad's here. He's a firm believer in letting kids be kids. He says I need to be allowed to find stuff out for myself, even if sometimes that means I get a few bumps and scrapes. Like the time I showed him my design for roller skates after Mum and Dad refused to get me some. It involved a lot of blue tack, sellotape and biros, but he let me build them anyway. It wasn't a total success, but I did learn how much floor hurts when you hit it with your face, which in itself is an important lesson, so Grandad said. So, like I say, I'm totally fine now, apart from being a teeny bit on the teeny side, and the doctor said I'll probably shoot up like a bean one day, but I'm still waiting for that to happen. On the upside, it means Nana and Grandad live only 2 minutes and 45 seconds away. On the downside, I can't help wondering if all that looking after me was what made Grandad poorly. Because now he has a funny heart, and not the funny ha-ha kind. Mum and Dad insists it's nothing to do with me, and Nana says it's more likely because of all the trifle and cheese he used to eat. But I still can't help thinking Grandad was supposed to be retired and taking it easy, not running around after me. I wasn't a patient. I didn't like being poorly, and sometimes when I watched all my friends all playing footy and I wasn't allowed, I used to go really cross. I even remember shouting at Grandad and hiding from him on purpose, so he had to hunt for me for ages, which can't have been very nice or restful. But whenever I start to worry about him, he accuses me of sticking him in a gigantic plastic ball. So even though there'd always be this little raw bit deep down in my belly whenever I think of that, I keep it to myself. When I arrived that morning, I headed straight round the back. I could see Nana through the kitchen window, leaning over a huge saucepan, steam swirling up around her. A sweet, fruity smell came floating out towards me. I gave her a wave and hurried down the garden, across the neat lawn, through the little group of apple and pear trees with their low crooked branches, and on past the abandoned beehives which Grandad had always promised to clear up and never had. And then I saw him in the far corner, spade poised, ready to tear up the roots of the dragon fruit tree. I shrieked and ran towards him. "Grandad, stop!" "Hey up, Chipstick. Hope you brought your muscles," he said. "We need to shift this thing, then we can start planning what's going where." He pointed his spade at the dangling cactus-like tentacles. "But Grandad," I panted, trying to catch my breath, "I found out what it is. It's a dragon fruit tree." I quickly stepped in front of the outstretched spade. "I looked it up last night." Grandad's face wrinkled. "Never heard of one of those." He angled the spade again, ready to do battle. "I thought I could look after it," I spluttered. "But it's taking up half the veggie plot. We could get some nice beans in there. Wouldn't you prefer some nice beans?" I shook my head till I thought my brain would fall out, then blurted out the only thing I could think of that could make him change his mind. Didn't you want some fancy fruit? Think of it, dragon fruit jam. You don't get many dragon fruit jam tarts, do you? Grandad rested on his spade and peered across at me. He was giving me his, "What are you up to now?" look. Then he winked and said, "Best tell Nana to prepare for some dragon fruit crumble as well then, hey?" He turned away and began battling with a bramble. I breathed a sigh of relief. Pulling open my pocket, I stared down at the little dragon curled inside me. His bright diamond eyes twinkled back up at me.